Hello students, after the completing alkane, alkene and alkyne, now we switch over to the another interesting and very important point is the aromatic hydrocarbon. In other means, which is also called as an arene. The meaning of hydrocarbon means what? Aromatic hydrocarbon. So there are when we classified hydrocarbon, so I think so in standard 10th you classified hydrocarbon into two different categories, saturated and unsaturated. But there is one more classifications of hydrocarbon, either aliphatic or aromatic. So what is the meaning of this aromatic? The meaning of aromatic, because since most of them possess a pleasant odor, not all, right? Most of them possess a pleasant odor. Here the meaning pleasant means is a very good odor, but it's not particularly up to right, because the smell of benzene is a little bit is like kerosene. The smell of aniline is like a fishy smell. So it's in short, they having such a type of odor, either bad or good, whatever. But the word aroma, so it means in Greek, the pleasant odor means aroma. That's why the name of this hydrocarbon is called as an aromatic hydrocarbon. And the meaning of arene means aromatic alkenes, means having aromatic nature, and alkene also having the characteristics in the this type of hydrocarbon is called as an arene. So final definitions or the best definitions of hydrocarbons, aromatic hydrocarbons is like that: hydrocarbons and their alkyl, alkenyl and alkynyl derivatives which contain one or more benzene rings, either fused or isolated in their molecules, are called as an aromatic hydrocarbons, or sometimes is called as an arenes too. Once again, hydrocarbons and their alkyl means methyl, ethyl, propyl, isopropyl, like that. Alkenyl means CH2 double bond CH, likewise. Alkynyl means CH triple bond CH, likewise. Derivatives which contain one or more benzene rings, either in fused, means they are in joint in nature, or isolated in their molecules, are called as an aromatic hydrocarbons or arenes. So benzene ring is highly unsaturated, and in most of the reactions of aromatic compounds, the unsaturation of benzene ring is retained. So it means that the meaning of benzene ring is retained means what? So in the case of benzene, they are highly unsaturated, that we have to study it because they are containing a 3 pi bonds. And most of the reactions of aromatic compounds, the unsaturation is retained. However, there are examples of aromatic hydrocarbons which do not contain a benzene ring, but instead contain other highly unsaturated rings. So there are some examples is like that. So it means that where as aromatic hydrocarbons containing a aromatic hydrocarbons containing a benzene ring, they are called as a benzenoid structure. In short, those who having a benzene ring, they are called as in benzenoid structures, and those who do not contain a benzene ring are also known as a non-benzenoid structure. That we have to study in our later part when we particularly discuss about the Huckel's rule. Likewise, Huckel's rule in the case, for example, they give the azulene, right? The meaning of azulene, pyridine, furan, thiophene, pyrrole. One more example is like cyclopentadienyl anion, cyclopentadienyl anion, cation, whatever. For example, what is the structure that we have to detailed study of this structure is like that. Okay, so it's a hydrogen lone pair minus. So this compound is called as an cyclopentadienyl and as a anion form, right? So it's aromatic in nature, but it's not a benzene ring, so which is classified under non-benzenoid structure. For example, if we have a cycloheptatrienol, right? Cycloheptatrienol. So what is the structure of cycloheptatrienol? Which is same but not 6 member, they having a 7 member, right? They having a 7 member. The structure is particularly drawn in this manner too. So this is cycloheptatrienol cation. The other name of this is tropylium cation 2. Tropylium cation 2. So these are the structures: cyclopentadienyl, cycloheptatrienylanion, but they do not having a benzene structure. So they are classified under non-benzenoid structure. So there are a big class of non-aromatic, non-benzenoid structures too. But that we have to study in our later portions when we have to study about the compound having aromatic in nature, non-aromatic in nature, and Huckel's rule. At that time we have to discuss in a very depth manner. Okay, so this is about the introductory portion of the aromatic hydrocarbons. Now, first structure of benzene, because this structure of benzene is highly important in the case of a history of a organic chemistry or history of a chemistry too. Because various scientists and big efforts which can be applied to find out the structure of benzene, right? So what is the structure of benzene and why particularly structure of benzene which can be discovered by a various scientists? So first the structure, we have to focus on a structure of benzene. So what's the first point of a scientist or first application point which can be done? We have to find out the molecular formula of a benzene. We have to find out the molecular formula of benzene. How we can find out the molecular formula of benzene? So in the case of molecular formula of benzene, first we have to find out what? First we have to find out which element is present. By which means by qualitative analysis. That we have to study in our prior lesson about the GOC. So qualitative analysis suggests that the unknown compound containing carbon and hydrogen, right? It means that there is no presence of oxygen as well as nitrogen, sulfur, halogen. It means that they only contain CH. It means they having a hydrocarbon nature because there is absence of oxygen too. Okay, then what next? Then we have to continue with a quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis find out the percentage of carbon and then percentage of hydrogen. So find out the percentage of carbon, percentage of hydrogen. If percentage of carbon is X and hydrogen is Y, so X is divided by 12, Y is divided by 1. Okay, so we get the empirical formula. This empirical formula gives the idea that the empirical formula is like that, CH. So what is the empirical weight? So empirical weight is 13 because 12 plus 1 is 13. Okay. Then we have to find out the molecular weight. And this molecular weight by a various method that we have to study in standard 12th in a lesson of solutions. So it's a boiling point elevations process, freezing point process, by osmotic pressure process. So various Victor-Mayer process, various process that we have to find out the molecular weight practically. And the molecular weight of benzene is 78. As we know that the molecular weight is 78 and empirical weight is 13. So it means that 13 6 are 78. So we have to, right? So this empirical formula 6. So the formula of molecular formula which can be C6H6. What this C6H6 suggests that? The molecular formula of C6H6 in benzene indicates what? High degree of unsaturation. Why high degree of unsaturation that we have to observe in C6H6? Because, for example, if this benzene is alkane in nature, right? So general formula of alkane is like that: C6, 6 2s are 12, plus 2 means 14 hydrogen if benzene act as an alkane. But you see that here the 8 hydrogen atoms less than the corresponding saturated alkane, means 8 hydrogen less. It means that benzene should be highly unsaturated compound or high degree of unsaturations. So is it true? Yes, because molecular formula is true, right? So how can we support it? This observation, this is high degree of unsaturation. So practically, which is suggested by a various method. For example, this is supported by the 3 different observations that the benzene molecules contain, the benzene molecule contain 3 C double bond C. So first one, if you are a scientist, then what is your particularly forecasting about this C6H6? So if one student who draw the structure is like that: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 triple bond and 1 triple bond, right? So this is also having a C6H6. Another students who draw the structure in this manner: CHC, C triple bond C, CH double bond CH2. Another person who draw the structure likewise. So there are various possibilities that a structure is either this one or all having a C6H6. But the structure yet not discovered at the because at presently we are discussed between 1825 to 1845. Firstly, 1825. Name of the scientist in 1825. The name of the scientist is Michael Faraday, who invented first benzene, right? From illuminating gas, means from acetylene, that we have to discuss in our last sessions, when 3 mole of ethine or acetylene, when we fused in a red hot tube at 600 degrees centigrade temperature, so our aliphatic compounds is now converted into benzene compound. So this reactions or preparations of benzene from this aliphatic hydrocarbon firstly discovered in 1825 by Michael Faraday. But as we know that after 20 years, in 1845, another scientist, right, is August Hoffmann, who discovered a benzene from coal tar. But various scientists who gives it here how many pi bonds? So 1, 2, 3, 4 pi bonds. In this case 1, 2, 3, 4 pi bonds. In this case 1, 2, 3, 4 pi bonds. If any structures who having a 4 pi bonds, it means that they having a 4, but the actual practical gives a different result. What the different result? Because some observations suggest that benzene containing 3 C double bond C. Benzene containing 3 C double bond C. So why these 3 C double bond C? Because, for example, if we do not, we know the structure of benzene, right? So this is the structure of benzene. When it's reduce or reduction phenomena, or sometimes called as an hydrogenation phenomena, right? In presence of what? In presence of nickel, right? Near about 250 degrees centigrade temperature is required. Near about. So 250 to 300. So which is converted into C6H12. So this hydrogen which can be another hydrogen addition. So the formula is like that: C6H6 and addition of 6 hydrogen. So it's converted into C6H12, and the C6H12 having a structure of cyclohexane. So this 3 mole hydrogen addition suggests that your compound having a 3 C double bond C. Another observations that we have to observe when a benzene, means C6H6, when it reacts with chlorine in presence of what? So in presence of sunlight. Okay, so we get a product is like that: C6H6 Cl6, C6H6 Cl6. Because same way, when we draw the structure of benzene like that, okay, so one chlorine which can be added here, another, and last one. So we get a structure is like that, C, okay, 6 carbon, okay, fine. So there is a addition of chlorine at here, so one hydrogen, because C6H6 is the main frame structure. Now chlorine, another chlorine, another chlorine. So we get a product is benzene hexachloride, or sometimes called as BHC or hexachlorocyclohexane. But what this observation suggests that because 3 mole of chlorine, when we have to add it in benzene, so we get a product is like that. It means that benzene containing 3 C double bond C. Another classic example of a ozonolysis of a benzene. It's a very good observation, because as we know that in our prior session when we studied about the ozonolysis of alkene, what's the importance of ozonolysis to find out or to locate the pi bond in your structure. So in very decent manner I have to explain this ozonolysis is like that, okay. So as we know that benzene having a double bond, and each carbon is connected with a hydrogen, okay. So find out. Now we have to add a 3 mole of ozone. When ozone is added in the compound, so first they form a ozonide compound. So here 3 mole of ozone, so it's a triozonide compound. So the name is benzene triozonide compound, and it's highly unstable in nature, because as we know that ozonide compounds are not stable in nature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First mole of ozone when we have to add it, so which can be drawn in this manner, okay. Another oxygen means ozone, it's a simple oxidation too, right, but with the help of ozone, okay. As we know that each carbon is attached with a hydrogen, so C6H6. So C6H6 is the formula. So the name of this particular C6H6O3 thrice. So it's called as a benzene triozonide compound. So 3 mole of ozone added into the benzene. So we get a product like that. But as we know that benzene triozonide is highly unstable. So in situation we have to perform these reactions in presence of zinc and water. So hydrolysis phenomena can take place. So there is a reductive cleavage, first reductive cleavage, second reductive cleavage, and third reductive cleavage. So this cleavage suggests converts into 3. This is CHO. So CHO is glyoxal or ethane 1,2-diol. So we get at 1, 2, and 3. Okay, glyoxal. So the name of this particular is glyoxal or ethane 1,2-diol. And hydrogen peroxide is liberated, and this hydrogen peroxide which can be reacts with zinc, and zinc oxide is converted into zinc oxide, okay. So in this reaction is a very important reactions, because we have to find out the double bond, but we have to find out the situation of single bond too. Why? Because this CHO coming from this benzene triazonide. So in benzene triazonide, C single bond C single bond C, and this benzene triazonide from benzene. So benzene having a 3 C single bond C and 3 C double bond C. And what's the another point? They are arranged in a alternate position. They are connecting with a alternate positions. So this is about the 3 observations that we have to observe, okay. So in spite of the presence of these 3 double bonds, benzenes behave like a, even though now the problem is like that. What's the problem that we have to observe? Even though they having a 3 C double bond C, but benzene behave like a saturated compound. So what's the point that we have to observe? Because this particularly supported by a different 2 facts. So first facts and second facts. Benzene undergoes substitutions rather than addition reactions. Benzene gives a substitution reactions rather than, because the speciality of benzene is having a 3 double bond C double bond C, so they gives the addition reactions, but in spite of addition reactions, they give us substitution reactions. And another, benzene is resistant to oxidation. Any particularly unsaturated compound who oxidize very easily, but even though benzene having a 3C double bond C, but they resist to the oxidations. That we have to cover in our next portion, because presently we are in a flashback. Now our journey starts from 1825 to 1845, and then after one very good scientist, his name was Friedrich August Kekule, right, who observed this type of the things in the structure of benzene, and how can he handle these structures, and what's the limitations of Kekule structures, how these particular structures which can be explained with the help of molecular orbital theory or resonance theory, that we have to discuss in our next session. Thank you very much.